Over the course of today's show on the board, we're going to be going through our favorite 6 win totals to bet on for the upcoming NBA season. Pips has 3, I have 2, and then we have one at the end, which we both really like, so make sure you stick around for that. This is the board, part of the Hammer Betting Network for NBA betting content. Please make sure you're subscribed and following us, and drop a like if you enjoyed this one. So let's get right into the first team here. This is one Pitts brought out to me, but I really like the way he's going with it. And that is the Indiana Pacers on the over 35.5 win line. Best price that we found was -120 at Betway. As always, shop around. But the time of recording here, early on July 17th, we have -120 Pips. What do you like so much about this one here?
I think they won 35 last season, and that's with shutting down for the last couple of weeks of the season, not even trying to win. They tanked some games, and yeah, I just believe in Tyrese leading these guys. They are a very young team, so this season much improved. They added Bruce Brown, they added Walker. They are a fun team. They are playing high pace, and they were tough when they were competing last season for everyone, and were on pace to cover this easily. And this season, I expect them to just go close to 40, then it's 35.
I feel like this is a team that is ready to start winning games. And I think that play-in tournament is a real aspiration for this team. They were, like you said, they fell off a little bit, but they were 11th. And if they have an improved season, maybe if Brooklyn regress, if Toronto regress, the play-in tournament positions are open. So this is a team that's going to be ready to win some games this season. So I like this one. Didn't notice this one at first, but when you brought it up, this one does make a lot of sense. So I like the Pacers there, over 35.5 wins. By the way, guys, if you ever want to bet along with anything that we have here, please make sure to do so with our affiliate links as well. You can use the QR code in the bottom left corner of the screen or the link in the description, betstamp.app/theboard. You can sign up through our affiliate codes to any of these sports books to bet along with us, and doesn't cost you anything extra, but does support the show a little bit more as long as you don't have these books. And it's always good to make sure you're shopping around. So let's get into one I really like here. I don't think Pips is going to be on the same page this one, but I've said numerous times on this channel, a bunch of channels, I am not convinced of the Cleveland Cavaliers as free agent pickups. Market maybe is kind of suggesting that, but I can see the Cavaliers going lower than the 51 wins they had this season. I have the under 50.5 wins, -125 at Bet365. You can also see them at 49.5 at +110. Wins, they count for a lot here, so we're going to take the extra juice and go for the 50.5 wins. But ultimately, where I see issues for this Cavs team, they added in shooting that they needed for sure, but they've sacrificed a lot of defense in the process. And I know they have a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Evan Mobley, but in the guard position specifically, Garland is not a great defender. Mitchell's not a great defender. And Pips, who do you imagine starts at the 3? Do you think Strus starts at the 3 and closes games at the 3?
I can see that, but Niang for sure not starting. He'll probably play on 20 minutes of the bench to get them shooting. It's between Levert and Strus. I don't think there is other option. Like they didn't start Levert, and then in the playoffs just saw like this doesn't work. We need to start shooting or someone, and they went to Levert later into the game series. So yeah, it's probably Strus, which then they like some size in between the guards. But yeah, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Jared Allen had, after the injury, had in return in the playoffs and huge drop off in performance. So we don't know what's going to happen this season. Yeah, it's kind of questionable how they are going to play and whether they are going to look. But yeah, I think I would look at this bet and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, don't see, like, I see them in 48, 50 range, so going only one above. Yeah, but it could be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just
and they are in the terrible spot.
I'm just not convinced by those. Like, if you're playing Strus, Garland, and Mitchell together, if that is the team you go with, if it's not, if it is Levert, go a bit bigger because you just paid Levert. Like, even still, it's just the defense there just isn't really it for me as far as the guards go. Allen and Mobley can make as much as possible. But like you said, there's question marks about Allen and how he's going to be able to play this season. I think where this bet could go off the rails is if Mobley is all of a sudden a serviceable corner shooter, which adds a complete other dynamic to their offense. I don't expect that, so I'm comfortable taking this number here, and I
Not,
think it will
not,
drop a bit more.
yeah. I don't think Evan will shoot this season.
Neither do I. Maybe someday, but not this season.
Yeah.
So let's flip it back over to you. You have the Chicago Bulls, and this one is very interesting as well. People are down in the Chicago Bulls, but maybe they're too far down because their win total is set at 37.5, and you can get the over for that for minus 110 at DraftKings. Why don't you talk us through this one?
Yeah, I'm just looking. Like last season, they won 40 games. They didn't get worse. They are almost remain almost the same. I think they were expected with all like you look into deep or advanced analytics and everything. They were expected to win more games. Uh, just healthy season from Demar Lavine. I think they can get this team up 40 wins, and they had 40 wins last season, and East got a bit weaker now. So I kind of think like they can win 40, 42 and be in the plane. They didn't sold this team out. They remain the same, and they probably will be in the playing spot. And to get in the playing spot, they need to cover this line. So huge aspiration to get in the plane, and so they want that they'll just go and try to win every game because it will be important for them to get in the plane. And yeah, as I said, 40. I expect them the same range last season, like 38 to 42. So when we are getting 37 and a half with that price, yeah, people are way down on Bulls, and they are not great, but they are not terrible either.
Yeah, I agree. I think looking at it, this is a bit too low for this
Yeah,
team. The only thing would be if they find a way to trade Zach LaVine, they take a step back a little bit. I find that a little bit hard to believe. Number one, nobody really wants Zach LaVine. Number two, they just committed to Vucevic for a good amount of time here. So I imagine this team continues to try and win. They lost Pat Bev, replaced him with Javon Carter. I kind of like the fit a bit more because he adds the shooting that Patrick Beverly did not provide. So the
yeah,
spacing is a little bit better. And they just got the long-term injury. I forget the exact term. They got an extra $10 million to spend from Lonzo Ball because of his long-term injury,
yeah.
which I don't know the exact logistics of that, but it's an opportunity to improve the team a little bit further. And I think, like you said, that can get them even above 40 wins. So 37, I really like this line.
Yeah.
So we'll flip back over to me. I'm going to take the defending champion Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go under to maybe a bit of a surprise here, but under 54.5 is plus 100 at DraftKings as well. And what I like about this one, they won 53 games last season. They took their foot off the gas. They probably could have won 55, 56, but this is a team who definitely got worse in free agency. They lost Bruce Brown, significant part of their team, and did not replace him. Jeff Green, I wouldn't go as far as say significant part, but a rotation player day to day, plays every game, did not replace him. So to replace these guys, essentially they just brought back Reggie Jackson and DeAndre Jordan. I'm not sure that these are what's going to help propel them here. I think they're going to be a great team, but they also had a lot of luck with health last season. Everybody stayed healthy, and the health thing kind of hid the fact that the team gets a little bit thin after the top 8. So without two of those top 8 guys, I think all of a sudden there could be some bigger issues for this team. So 54 to get back to that point seems a little bit tough for me with injury-prone players like Murray, like Michael Porter Jr., etc. But Pips, what do you think about Denver Nuggets here?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. Like, if I lean anywhere, I lean under. I think they had tremendous luck with Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray to almost play every game. They were very healthy. They are very injury prone, so everything can happen. Yeah, they won the championship now. They won't push as hard in the regular season for sure. And yeah, losing Bruce Brown is huge. They didn't replace him, so now rely on some younger guys. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, very difficult. And East West got a bit more competitive.
It's true.
So yeah, so There's no more easy wins there. So yeah, I think I lean under. So for sure.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking for the West. There really is no definitive tanking teams. Like San
Besides
Antonio's.
probably Portland. Besides
Yeah,
probably.
Portland are the only one, but like the
I
Jazz
don't think.
want to win, the Rockets want to win, the Spurs want to win. Now they probably won't win a ton, but they want to be competitive at the very least to start the season. So
Yeah.
I like that point as well. So let's go back over to you. Another interesting one here. The New York Knicks, coming off of an impressive season where they won 47 games, now have their win total sitting at 43 and a half. You can see this at 43 and a half, 44 and a half, and 45 and a half, depending where you look. But the number that we want to look at here for Pips is the New York Knicks over 43 and a half wins at minus 135. This is also at DraftKings. Why do you like this one?
So I'm always the guy that backs up tips teams in the regular season.
Mhm.
They just play harder than anyone. Like they go in hustle, hustle, hustle every game like it's a playoff game, and that wins them a bunch of here and there games that are for the up for the taking. Also, full season of Josh Hart. They added Dante DiVincenzo, which I like. AJ Barrett, which I'm not high on, had very poor regular season. So in his sophomore year, he shot 40% from three, then he shot 34% for three, and last season to complete like terrible, showing in 31% from three, like very down year. Julius Randle had decent year, but he had better years, so I think he can expect. And he had some troubles and injury later into the season. I expect Mitchell Robinson to finally be healthy for the entire season, but they are well covered there with Hartenstein, and Hartenstein also played with injury the entire year, so that's kind of so yeah. Quickly, mm, almost won the 6 year award, and now he's getting even more experience into this season. Grimes was huge for them deeper
Yeah.
into the season, so I'm expecting. So yeah, I like Knicks, and they won 47 last season, and now we had 43 and a half, and I think they will be better this season. And East also got a bit worse, so when it's a hustle and everything combined, I think I can see them 46, 48 again this season.
I like it. A lot of improving players. And a thing to note about the Knicks, of all teams who can get drastically better, they're maybe top of the list with the amount of picks and assets. They're a team that can make a big move. I don't think they will, but
Yeah.
that only heightens the potential for wins with this team. So I like this one. Let's do a little bit of a lesson here into betting. So other people are going to see this one at 44 and a half, minus 106 at Canby Books, because that's also available time recording. Why don't you take us through a little bit of why you think taking the extra juice is better, and maybe that could do some convincing as to why this is a better play at the lower number.
So I always put it into this perspective. Let's say, for example, to make it easier, I have a floor for the Knicks at 40 wins, and I have like at most 50 wins. So I'll instead of using the 43 and a half and then going to calculate the percentage of one win from 0 to 44, that will make like 2.3% worth one win. But that doesn't make any sense to use it in this scenario because there's no way Knicks end up winning 0 games or winning 10 games or winning 20 games.
Right.
That's not, the chance of that happening is irrelevant. So we just use like something that makes sense, some range, and that's from 40 to 50 wins, floor and top. And then I will like we have 10 range games, and one win probably is equal to 10%. I'll say at the bottom and top of the it's probably 8%, but in the middle it's between 10 to 12%. And the difference between one win, let's say 43 and a half minus 135, and one win higher at minus 106 is 6% between the juice. And I would like say one win is 10 to 12%, so I will go with the juice.
And this is also something that can be employed with like your player prop betting during the season as well, going from 23 point, like over 23 and a half points to an over 24 and a half points. These things make a big difference, and sometimes taking the juice is the better play in terms of your expected value. So something to keep note of for all of your betting, not just on NBA stuff. But this is a pick that we both came into today liking, and we actually have a really good price on this one as well. Not just a bias pick, but the Houston Rockets have put together quite a team here. Ime Udoka is here. Over 31.5 wins is minus 109 at Canby Book. So Barstool, Unibet, Bet Rivers, Leo Vegas. There's probably some other ones as well. Canby Books, but minus 109 on this one. I'm a big fan here, but your Rockets, why don't you start us off because you're more in tune with the team than I am for sure.
So if he just switched Silas for Ime Udoka and didn't sign anyone,
Yeah.
I think we'll be like 30 wins team. We won 22 last year with worst coaching you can imagine. No veterans on the team, no responsibility, no accountability, nothing. Like just playing some terrible players like the Sharniks, and I don't even want to go deeper into the last season, but we won 22 games in the worst possible scenario. Now we improved tremendously with adding no coach and veterans to the team. So that's the first point. So even with all this, I'll probably like close to 30 wins. And now we added Fred VanVleet, which solves our point guard issues and shooting probably. We added Dylan Brooks for defensive purposes. We added veterans in Jeff Green, and we added backup center. All great players. We drafted Amen Thompson, who showed from day one that he is ready. So now
Yeah.
our bench is not Garuba and Deshaun Nix. It's Amen Thompson, Kevin Porter Jr. Like that's huge, tremendous improvement. So these guys were probably the best players last season, and now we have them running off the bench. Probably Tyrese also running
Yeah.
off
I was
the
about to
bench.
bring up Eason. I love
Yeah,
Eason.
like yeah, and Jock Landale. That's great second unit to have, and we added so much, and yeah, and also the thing for me. So we now have good point of attack defenders and perimeter defender, and we will now start Alperen Şengün and help him defend, and he can just unlock on our offense completely. We're just going through him every play. I'm a huge fan, and he had some troubles last season in defensive end, but everyone else was poor, so couldn't expect much from him. Silas was poor. Playing him in drop coverage is complete utter nonsense, especially with big point attack defenders. So all in all, great improvement on every part of the team: coaching, adding veterans, adding better players, resolving issues. Our younger guys being more experienced. I expect better season, way better season from Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Alperen to just get more minutes, and we'll be ready to 35 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick as well. There's nothing I really need to add because you've gone through it all there. So those are our 6 picks that we have here. So Pips really likes the Pacers over 35.5 wins, minus 120 at Betway. The Chicago Bulls over 37.5 wins, minus 110 at DraftKings. The Knicks over 43.5 wins, minus 135 at DraftKings. I like the Cavaliers under 50.5 wins, minus 125 at 365. The Nuggets under 54.5 wins at plus 100. And we both very much like the Houston Rockets over 31.5 wins, minus 109. We were both willing to take this at minus 120 as well. So to get this at minus 109, if you can, is also excellent. Remember, line shopping is vital. Use the QR code in the bottom left corner screen or betstamp.app/theboard. It's linked in the description as well. This has been another great show here. Hopefully you did enjoy. Subscribe if you did, like for more, and we'll see you again very soon for some more content here, part of the Hammer Betting Network.